Hey Libras, how y'all doing? Welcome. We are going to be taking a look at your June through July Litha summer solstice slash winter solstice, depending on where you are in the world, reading here. So let's get right into your meditation before we go into this beautiful spread you have going on here. So in your meditation, really, really fascinating, short but sweet. I saw this large body of water that was completely frozen over. So it was like a frozen lake. And I saw these lights, so these blue glowing lights sort of emanating from within this lake. It gave me this feeling, this sense that it looked still, but it was ready to go. Like there was this like rushing water that was underneath that just given the right temperature would boom, become very active, go from a state of stillness to a state of action like that, like rather quickly. I also saw this image of a wolverine, not Hugh Jackman, but the animal. I had to, sorry. So I saw the Wolverine go and stand out on the ice. And Wolverine is such a unique animal energy that I feel like does not come by very often. So rather pleased to see it come through for y'all. Wolverine is very much about tenacity and perseverance, but it's a very active energy, like incredibly just forward, extroverted, getting it done, active, willing to do what needs to be done, right? And not hesitating about it. So the opposite of procrastination, just completely proactive. A really beautiful energy there. And I saw this Wolverine standing on this, frozen body of water. And then I saw something above that said June. Remember, we're looking at June through July, right? Then I saw the water like start to melt, and I saw the Wolverine get transported to this like summertime scape where there's this rushing river. And it was moving really quickly, and the Wolverine was standing on the riverbank with all of these people around. They were having picnics, they were planning things, they were talking, they were meeting, and then I saw something that said July. So I feel like this season for you is sort of like a hurry up and wait for June, but it feels like you're ready. But there's a certain sense of satisfaction that comes from knowing that you're ready when the time is right, but that it's not quite time yet to do what needs to be done or go for it or take action. And then July is just going to be like, okay, off to the races. So there is that sense of hurry up and wait, but it feels incredibly positive. It doesn't feel like angsty. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like, oh, I'm waiting here. Like, no, it just feels like it's a very distinct feeling that I'm picking up on, where it's that certain sense of satisfaction that you get when there's nothing to do at the moment, but you know that you've done a lot to get to that moment, and that there will come a time when it's time to take action again, and that you're 100% ready for it. That's a very unique feeling, and I like that it's coming through for you. So in the spread here, your animal is the lion, which is just like so spot on for me, because the lion equates to the king of wands in the tarot, which is about he's a master of timing, right? The wands are about action, the action that we do or don't take. It's about our passion, it's about our soul purpose. So he's the king of divine timing. He never wastes time. He always knows what to say yes to, what to say no to, what to say maybe later to. So it's really stunning there that it's coming through as that sense of like waiting readiness with the Wolverine, and then knowing that when it's time to go, halfway through this summer point or winter point in July. So it's really, really interesting here that you're getting the master of timing in accordance with that meditation of the Wolverine. It feels very, very positive. It feels like you are in alignment in some way. Like you've got this inner, like, what am I thinking of, where it's like that inner metronome where you're just keeping your own time. It just feels really, 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 really good. So It's interesting because your oracle here. So we're using the Seasons of the Witch New Litha Oracle deck, which I'm going to recommend in the newsletter next week. It's so beautiful. It just came out. So you got Light Worker, and if you've been with me for any time at all, you know that my animal that represents Libras is the butterfly. So I love that you're coming up for yourself in this reading. And this says Light Worker. The transmutation of shadow is needed when seeking the light that guides you. Fascinating, because I was in that frozen tundra kind of darker landscape and then into that bright sunny day where the river was going and the rest of it. So the transmutation of shadow is needed when seeking the light that guides you. I love that. I feel like that is another way of saying that during that time of stillness, with all that energy that you're going to be accruing, I feel like it's a really beautiful opportunity for you to take whatever opportunities you have, whether it's the whole month or it's just most of that month or whatever it is for you, in some way, shape, or form, to do some reflection, because we are at the midway point of the year, right? We're straddling the, the first half of the year and the second half of the year. So it's a really beautiful opportunity to reflect back on how the first 6 months have gone and how you would like the next 6 months to go, right? Looking back so that you can take what works with you forward, right? And then leave behind what didn't. So it feels like a really beautiful message here around you're standing on that frozen lake, which a lake, when, it's a reflective surface when it's still, right? And then the river is not a reflective surface because it's always moving. So really interesting that we went from a frozen lake to like a gushing river. Or gushing sounds weird, but gushing in a good way, like like a flowing river, like in sunshine, which is really, really beautiful. So I like that looking back to move forward aspect of this for you. It's really, really beautiful. So there's so many wands here, guys. Like it's very, very fiery, very, very fiery. You're coming through as the Six of Wands here, which is just like, oh, chef's kiss. I love this. And this is really linking into quite well what I was feeling in your meditation. So the Six of Wands is about victory, right? It's about winning on a level where other people notice. This is about feeling incredibly good about where you are, about what it took for you to get there, and just feeling like, wow, like I have reached a certain precipice. I've reached a point where I feel like I can just like take a breath and really pat myself on the back. It's beautiful. This is recognition, right? It's stunning, and this can be, an internal feeling, right? This can also be external circumstances as well, where your physical circumstances are improving in some way, whether by a turn of luck, your own manifestations, or an inheritance or an offer. But it's Six of Wands moment is like winning. So it's really lovely that this is you. But I like this as well because the fact that like this is coming through as the Rook with the armor on, we're using the Allison Tarotland deck here. It does speak of, there's a movement here where it says like, yes, I'm on the journey and I'm ready to celebrate, but I'm not, I'm ready to keep moving as well. This isn't the end for me. It's just a pit stop. I like that it's the 6th when we're looking at the 6th month of the year as well. So this feels incredibly positive when you're coming from a victory mindset, and that's you coming from a victory mindset for Litha season. So it just feels when you're in the right mindset, things are just going to go, better than they would otherwise, right? Because it's all in the mind. It really, really is. So in your place of challenge, it's more wands. We have 2 of wands. So this makes a lot of sense as well because this is about waiting. But we can frame this a little bit differently because it's not waiting in the sense where it's not active. It's really what I felt in the meditation with hurry up and wait. It's that active inner movement and stillness, right? When whatever your circumstances are require for you to stay put for a minute, you are still ready. You are still staying ready so you don't have to get ready, right? So the 2 wands is about building that foundation, making sure the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, making sure that you are in the best position when opportunity comes knocking. Right. And that's your challenge here. So the fact that this is coming in as your challenge, it could denote like just maybe like very slight impatience or an aspect of feeling like, oh, I just want to get to the next step already. Or look at her like looking out like, where is it? There could be a sense of like even wondering what the next step is, right? Sometimes our confidence can take a little bit of a hit. Lion energy is very much about confidence. Sometimes our confidence can take a bit of a hit when things aren't necessarily flowing in the same way that they were, or there's a little bit of like an unknown factor going on. But these roses here and these lilies here, those are the same flowers that are in the Magician's Key. Red roses are about passion, your purpose, why you're here, what moves you, what gets you up in the morning, right? And the white lilies are about your connection to spirit, right? That sense of knowing that higher self. So I like that this is coming forward as having a balance between those two. And the fact that she's got her hand on the wand that is in the lily bed here, right? I feel like that's really saying to really temper those passions, temper those feelings, and maybe even a little bit of like, restlessness with that connection to higher self going, when I operate within divine timing, I am always in perfect time. So in your place of advice, you have the Three of Wands, more wands. The Three of Wands, I love. I just love how this story is playing out for you, Libra, because you have the two who's literally looking over here at the white rabbit, whose, tagline is what I'm late for a very important date by a big old body of water, right? And then the white rabbit is looking at his watch like, hello. But what's really hilarious about this is that because he's looking at his watch, well, we don't really know, right? I feel like on one hand, he could be looking at his watch and in doing so misses the fact that these boats are arriving, or he's looking at these watches going, how long did it take these boats to get here? Or, gosh, they're moving kind of slowly. How long is it going to take before they reach the shore and I can get on this ship? Or they can get off the ship, either one. But there is a certain feeling of impatience here. But what's interesting, though, is that there's a happy anticipation that goes along with this as well, because Three of Wands is very much about movement forward, but it's also about the benefactor energy and people coming together to work in tandem, right? When Three of Wands comes, it's the opportunity that you're preparing for with the Two of Wands. So the fact that this is coming up as your advice, it really says, like, know your ships are coming in. Believe it and act as though it's already done. Because if you knew what was going to happen next, right? In any transitional period of waiting or whatever it is, period of an unknown, feeling where you're not exactly sure, if you knew what was going to happen next, right? How would you spend the time before? You would probably be like, oh, this is probably the last moment I'm going to have to rest for a little bit. So let me use it wisely. And I feel like that's coming up for you here in your advice. Trust that what you are waiting for and looking out for is coming around the bend. And I'm really obsessed that it's from the 2 to the 3. And we're looking at June through July. And I saw that meditation of like standing still and then the water shifting to a running river. It's really, really fascinating here, Libra. It feels incredibly positive. So in your place of victory, you got 2 for 1. So you got Four of Pentacles, which is hilarious because, because the Four of Pentacles is about not moving forward and not going backwards either. It's a stagnant energy, but there's also an aspect of this that speaks of assured material gain, nothing lost, nothing gained, nothing, all of that sort of, feeling behind it. But I feel like with this, I'm hearing Nina Simone, I want some sugar in my bowl. But I feel like with this, because it is coming through with the Six of Cups, which speaks of a love of the moment. Elephant here represents memories and childhood and happy, times to reminisce, a sort of a wonderful time to reflect like we were looking at before, but through really positive lens. The fact that it's coming your place of victory, I feel like this is saying, when you allow yourself to just be where you are and embody the full moment and not wish yourself, to move forward or wish yourself were in a different circumstance, right? You give yourself the gift of clear sight in terms of the past, like clear reflection. You're able to look to the past and really decipher it clearly. But there's also an aspect of healing here as well. So I feel like this is tying in with your light worker, which says the transmutation of shadow is needed when seeking the light that guides you. Remember, we were talking about, looking back in order to move forward. The fact this is coming up in your place of victory is just that. This is about the past, and this is not moving forward or backwards, right? So it's like this mouse is like, has to look at this in order to get the ticket for the Three of Wands to arrive and move forward. Think of it this way. Imagine that you're a teacher and, you're teaching a bunch of kids, right? Since we're looking at the past. And they have certain lessons that they need to learn, right? There's certain marker points that you have to hit in the syllabus, right? and they're really excited to get to the next step in the syllabus, and they're kind of bored of the one you've been teaching, but you know that they don't quite have it yet and they need to master it. And maybe even you need to revisit the one before they are able to fully understand, appreciate, and be able to work with what comes next. There's a need to revisit the past. There's a need to reflect. There's a need to learn a lesson before they can go forward with their toolkit fully packed, right? And I feel like that's what this is for you in a way. I feel like the universe, your spirit guides, your higher self is going, there is a key takeaway. There is an opportunity here. There's some of this shadow that wants to transform, especially with the elephant here, which speaks of past heart pain, right? Maybe it's brain pain too, honey. But past heart pain, right? It's the need to heal. It's the need to mourn. It's the need to, reach a place of acceptance around how things have been so that you can move forward into what will be. I like that this is coming up in your place of victory. Then in your outcome, you have 5 wands. Now, this is interesting because this came up in the Aquarius reading as well. You might want to check that out, especially if you have Aquarius in your chart in a significant way. In your place of outcome here, the fact that this is 5 more wands, right? 5 again, the number of change. You have light worker number 23. 3 plus 2 is 5. So it is a repeating number, as is 6 here. But it's interesting because traditionally this speaks of, competition, struggle, inward tension, outer tension. It's not the most comfortable energy. And then look at that honey badger as well. It's a similar looking to a wolverine. Actually, yeah, that's a honey badger, I'm pretty sure. But it's interesting in this context because this is a lot happening all at once. I remember look at that well there with the water in it. I remember how we were talking about it going from sort of like seeming like it's quite still or not much is happening as an opportunity to look back and reflect before you move forward. And then the outcome is that like, whoa, everything's happening. We saw that gushing river and that wolverine that was like, yes, I'm in it. There's lots of people around. There's lots going on. It's fascinating because I do feel like it's positive, but I do feel like what comes next for you in terms of the outcome, of this Litha season or Yule season, depending on where you are, is that a lot of seeds that you've sown are going to bear fruit around the same time. So I see you spinning a lot of different plates. I see you going, oh my God, this one thing that I've been waiting on came through. And then this complete other thing that I didn't even expect came through. And they're both really important. And now I'm having to, reconfigure what I was planning because it's like all happening at once. There's a lot going on. I also feel like there's going to be, I'm seeing like a group of people or at least more than one, like a handful of people vying for your time and attention. This could be anything where it's like an unexpected offer, a pregnancy, a kid that needs some extra time with you, or you get promoted at work and suddenly your responsibilities have tripled, or there's an opportunity over here to travel to this place, and you're like, oh my God, now I gotta like double time get ready for that. There's an interesting twist that happens where I'm telling you it goes from one speed to another quite quickly. So as long as you're embodying that lion energy of master of timing, knowing what to say yes to, what to say no to, what to say maybe later to, there's that certain confidence that comes. And I was saying this in another reading, I forget what sign it was, but I was talking to a therapist years ago, and she said something that really stuck with me that's coming up for you in this reading now, which is that it takes confidence to be patient. But if you are truly confident that you're exactly where you're meant to be and that the universe is always gonna, have everything work out for you, then you can be patient. Patient is easily attainable if you are confident in where you are, confident in where you're going, even though you may not know where exactly that is. So I feel like that confidence is really taking root for you, and it feels incredibly positive since you're coming in as the 6 of Wands. And again, this is all about action. It's a very active time, but look back before you go forward because you're going to be able to take some really helpful takeaways that you're going to be really happy for as you go forward onto your next step. So feels really, really positive, my beautiful butterflies. So with that being said, I so hope this helps and resonates. If so, let me know in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. I am back. I am in my new home country of the UK, back with my my crow here back in my home base. My visa has been approved. So thank you guys so much for sticking with me during my time of transition and my travels. I feel like it was going on forever. So thank you guys. I'll be doing a This Is Me video to kind of let you guys in on some more updates and the story of how that all unfolded. And yeah, just thank you so much for being here and for your patience with me. And most of all, and as always, just thank you for being you and be well. Until next time.